Hello and welcome to Tête-à-tête with Tiwa. I'm Tineke.
I'm Wally.
Today's question is about parenting. We've got two about parenting. So the first one is, well, let's do the first one first. Did you?
Let's do the first one first. Wait. Right.
Oh my gosh. Did you both discuss our parenting styles for bringing up the children?
No.
I don't think we did.
Styles, no. No, we didn't. But I'm sure we knew we had very similar ideas about how to bring up our kids. It was never something we discussed.
We didn't discuss it, but I actually disagree. I don't think we had similar ideas about how to bring up our kids.
No? Okay.
Because I think you would have gone down the smacking route, wouldn't you?
No, it wasn't. I was never smacked.
You were never smacked. This explains so much. Jesus. Who knew?
Anyway.
This explains so
No,
much.
no. Don't get it wrong. My dad never smacked me.
Okay, but your mom did.
Ah.
So you were smacked now. So why are you saying you were never smacked?
No, but as a dad, because my
as a dad.
as a
Okay,
dad,
so you mean as a man.
As a man, my dad never smacked me. So there's no way I was ever.
Yeah, but would you have
kids.
thought that the kids should have been smacked?
No,
Not necessarily because of you doing it all.
no. It's
Because I always felt that you were smacked, and that was how you would. I never thought of it from the point of view of a dad not smacking. I just thought of it as a way of, okay, fair enough. So maybe we did have similar ideas. I wasn't fully aware of. I wasn't fully aware of. But no, we didn't actually have a chat to sit down and say, this is how we want to raise our kids. I think we did know what our values were anyway. So we knew that pretty much things were on the same sort of level. I certainly didn't want to go down the smacking route. Only because I thought why didn't I want to go? I was smacked, but only till I was 10, and only, I just felt that I'd seen too many people smack their children out of anger and because of themselves, rather than to correct the child, but more because of their embarrassment or their irritation or whatever. And I didn't want to be that person, and I wanted to always it was that thing about would I be able to control myself if I went down that road? Would I then be able to control myself if one day I was angry? Would I not just slap, as opposed to, because I felt like the whole point of smacking or whatever is for correction, not for satisfaction. Does that make sense? And I just didn't feel like I had seen it too often where it was literally the parent doing it to get it out of their system rather than to correct the child. So I felt there must be more, other ways that you could correct the child. So yeah, so smacking wasn't one of the things we were going to do. But just in terms of so I think no, we didn't have a discussion, but we did kind of have the same values. We did know how we wanted our children to be. It's a work in progress. Can we sit down here now and tell you that our children are exactly that? No. But it's something that it's
a work in progress.
And parenting is one of those things that is it's a full-time, lifelong job. So, you just...
Well, I don't know about lifelong.
It is, because are you not still...
Well, my mom isn't going to parent me.
No, she's not going to parent you, but I mean, she's always going to be your mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a role you never give up.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
so from that point of view, and if I went to your mom with situations about you, she would probably try to parent you.
Okay, I see what you mean. All right.
You know what I mean? Yes. So I think it just kind of never ends.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, it changes. It gets different depending on their age and whatnot. But,
yeah.
So no, and I think it probably would be. I mean, would it be a good idea for people to have a conversation? I think it's important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because imagine two people with totally different parenting styles. There could be real conflict there if there hasn't been a conversation beforehand. I mean, I think we're lucky because we're cool like that.
We cool like that.
No.
What do you mean by that?
Cool like that. When I mean cool like that, I mean I'm cool. Sorry. Yeah, no. When I say we're cool like that is we're easy. We get on with each other easily. So I think, even if we were to be faced with that situation, we'd be able to resolve it quite quickly because, we can talk about these things and reason it out and concede, depending on who's has a better argument and so on and so forth. Um, but, I imagine if it's not something that's been discussed, it can be a
Do you know what? I think what needs to be discussed before marriage maybe is value systems. What you totally believe in, what you absolutely won't do, that sort of stuff. And once you've covered that, parenting and stuff will probably just all these other things will probably slip into it.
Right.
So it's more the value system. But I mean, yes, a specific conversation about parenting, of course, it would be useful. But I think it's more the value systems and, knowing that you're on the same path, you have the same ideas, the same goals or visions or whatever, as in,
yeah.
So I think that's what.
Yeah.
Okay, second question, and this is for you. As a father of two boys, how have you been able to manage your relationship where they are free to tell you things and also keep away from bad company? So the first question is, are they free to tell you things? Do you think so? Do you think that they think that they're free to tell you things? Because it might be your impression.
Impression or not. Well, I'll tell you what, in all honesty, they are free to tell me anything, anyway.
Yeah, I know that.
My oldest tells me absolutely, that was not shy at all. Tells me absolutely everything, anything that he wants to. I don't think he's ever felt that there's nothing he can't tell me anyway. So now the younger one is a bit more reserved. So we're talking different personalities. Is a bit more reserved. At times we'll talk to me about certain things, but I hear him talking to his brother. So he's not telling me the same things.
It's a different relationship.
It's a different relationship, I guess, yeah. So I don't know, maybe he's just not mature enough yet, or maybe that's just his personality. That we're still working on. It's a work in progress. I'm still working on that. So to be able to get in to understand him really, and that's the whole point. To be able to understand him, and so that he also, I think he pretty much understands me anyway, but so that I can understand him better as he grows, as he matures. But yeah, they're free to tell me.
Okay, next question.
I don't know if I've answered that.
So that was the first, because there's several.
Okay, my aspects.
So next thing it says, and keep them away from bad company. Did you think that we've managed to keep them away from bad company?
Oh yes, we have.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, I think that I've always been deliberate from when they were young, telling them about bad company or bad company, bad habits, and what the results can be. I remember for me, at very young, I must have been 12, 13, when my dad gave me an analogy about smoking weed at the time. Because I wonder why, actually, he brought it up in hindsight. But
he probably saw where you were headed.
So he told me a story then, and it was not story, told me a story, sorry, it was an analogy of sorts. What he did was he said I should go and get a metal hanger from somewhere, a room or something. Anyway, I went to fetch one, and he told me to, the triangles. So he told me to undo the neck and then stretch it out, which I did. And then in the middle, he said to me, now bend it so that, both sides touch each other. So I bent it. And then he said to me, now return it to its original position. And I tried to, obviously it didn't work. that was that. And I said to him, I said, well, it's not working. He said, well, I just wanted to tell you um, the way it is with weed. And he actually said drugs, actually, not particularly weed. He mentioned weed, but drugs. And he said, this is the way it works with human beings. You might take these drugs and they might be perfect for you and not have any adverse effects on you. But then you might be the person with the makeup that, once bent, can never return to normal. No matter how much treatment they try to give you and so on and so forth, you never get back to normal. He says, so he said to me, he said, the truth of the matter is you don't know which one of those you are. So my advice to you, as a father, is not to ever touch those drugs. And as a result, I've never touched any drugs. And I've taught my children the same thing. Hopefully, they will. It's imbibed and they won't, they will go with the lessons. Yeah, so I've been deliberate about it because of this.
I think that's kind of answered the question. It says, how have you been able to manage your relationship so that they are free to tell you the stuff and so that they're away from bad company? So,
that's pretty much it. Gangs and all that. I've always said you don't need to be in a gang to be hip. You can be hip all on your own.
I think one of the things that we do as parents is we have a very open conversation, and I think I'm one of those people that I'm like, I don't care how bad it is, whatever you've done, you need to tell me. I don't want a case where my kids feel like they can't come and tell me anything. I don't care what it is. I don't want a case where they feel that they can't come and tell me anything. So we've tried to have that in the house. Obviously, we don't want them to do anything that's that bad, but if they do, then they should be able to come to us and be like, this is what I did, and know that yes, we might not be happy with what they did, but it doesn't change how we feel about them or whatever, type of thing. My daughter came to me the other day and she said, if I did something and got in trouble, would you report me? And I was like, yeah. She was like, I knew you would, but you still want me to tell you about it? I was like, yeah, but there's a consequence for every action. So, it's just about teaching them and, type of stuff. So, but you still have to, parenting it's a tough job. You just have to be on the ball all the time. You have to, because, I was saying to, I always say this, you prayed. I prayed before I had my kids. I prayed whilst I was pregnant. I prayed for my kids. And I prayed, for intelligence, so I'm always saying, there I was going around praying, Lord, let them be intelligent. And now I'm finding myself having to be like 3 steps ahead just to keep up with their intelligence, So it's my answered prayer that's now causing me more.
Well, there you go.
More stress,
yes,
because obviously you just have to be. But I always say to them, I say, do you know where you got your intelligence from? Yeah.
I beg your pardon.
But that's what I always tell them. I'm not saying that you're not
intelligent. No. It's all right.
I'm just saying that's what I always say. I always like, you think you're clever. Who do you think you got that from? But yeah, so it's
Well, to be frank, I never actually. I always prayed for wisdom and knowledge, understanding. And these were very key things for me to pray for.
For them
as
yeah.
they grow up. Because growing up, I remember my grandfather, who was a sage in my opinion. My grandfather used to say to me, in fact, he used to get me to read the book of Proverbs to him. He would call me, get me to grab a Bible and just sit down and tell me to read Proverbs to him. And so that got me reading Proverbs. And, even without him, I'd read. And he always used to say, have you read Proverbs? He never actually mentioned any other book in the Bible for me to read but Proverbs. And from when I was young, I guess it was always something I prayed for, because he obviously put this in my head, and so I've prayed for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding for them growing up, because I think it's key. Yeah, of course, intelligence is good as well.
I didn't just pray for intelligence, it was just one of the things that I pray for. And also because that's the one that seems to always come back to bite me. So,
Right.
that's why I remember that one
There you
specifically. But yeah, but I think you can't underestimate the power of prayer either. Certainly we can't. And yeah, there's things that you do. You have to be practical then. But anyway, this is not a parenting show. This is just, you know. So there's lots of things that me personally, I don't believe there's any such thing as a bad child. I just think there's bad parenting. That's my stand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whenever I see something going on in my children, I'm looking at myself to think, okay, what
have I gone wrong?
Yeah, what are you not
What are
doing
you
right
missing
here?
out
What
on?
can you change? What can you whatever?
Absolutely.
So that's just my thing personally. That's not to blame parents, because I think a lot of people, when I say that, a lot of people think I'm saying, well, it's the parents' fault. It's not so much the parents' fault. I think it's the parenting.
There's something that's gone wrong.
Parenting.
Who's in charge? Who's responsible? Of, you know, and who has the authority? That's the parents. You've got to take responsibility. Yeah, you've got to take responsibility.
Okay, there you go.
Right.
So till next time.
Ciao.
Ciao.